G'day there guys, it's Connie here again, and we're back with some more stories from Reddit. As always, if you enjoy these videos, be sure to hit like and subscribe, and also the notification bell so you never miss an episode. Alrighty, let's get right into it. Alrighty folks, we're on relationships. This one was written by a throwaway account, and it's titled, My fiance's ex-wife has cancer. He's moved in with her and postponed our wedding. Apologies for length. Max and I dated for 2 years and have been engaged for 9 months, with the wedding date set for early January. We have a healthy, honest relationship, and I've never had any reason to doubt him. He and Carolyn were high school sweethearts who married very young. They were both 22 right out of college. They divorced after 2 years. Max told me that they got married too quickly and didn't realize how different their relationship would be in the real world, i.e. when they were both working full-time jobs and struggling to pay the rent. They split up on good terms but didn't keep in touch. He remained in our home city while she pursued a modelling career and began travelling extensively. 3 months ago, Caroline contacted Max over Facebook out of the blue, saying she was in town and wanted to meet for coffee. He agreed. Over coffee, she told him that she had recently been diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer. Her odds of survival were low, but she was determined to fight it through surgery and chemo. She said that all she wanted was for Max to be by her side throughout her treatment. Carolyn's parents died shortly after she married Max. She has no siblings and the rest of her family lives overseas. She described Max as the closest thing to family she has left. I absolutely sympathize with Carolyn. The next day, Max had her over to our apartment, and she was completely lovely, clearly trying very hard to be optimistic, even in the face of her life potentially ending before she turns 30. I feel terrible for her and for the situation that she's in, and I fully supported Max being there for her. Her first surgery was later that month. Max flew across the country. We live on the East Coast, she's on the West, and checked into a hotel a few minutes from her apartment. He's a writer, so working from his laptop is no issue. We spoke on the phone or on Skype almost every day for the 2 weeks he was over there. Carolyn had her surgery at the beginning of June. Unfortunately, it was not entirely successful. Her doctors moved to the next method, chemo. Max came home after her surgery to tell me this. He explained that Carolyn's treatment plan was set to begin in July and end in late January. It would be an incredibly difficult time period for her, and she wanted him with her at all times. We can't afford to pay for a hotel until January, so he moved into her apartment, sleeping on her sofa. He's been there for the past month, and we continue to Skype, though only a couple times a week now. When we spoke yesterday, Max gently told me that based on Carolyn's condition, he wouldn't feel right leaving her so close to the end of her treatment. He'd like for us to postpone the wedding until February at the very least, so that he can stay with her until the treatment is over. I'm so conflicted. I feel awful for resenting Carolyn at all. She has cancer. She's suffering immensely, but the resentment is still there. I resent her for needing Max constantly holding her hand, as though she has absolutely no friends of her own. I resent Max too for agreeing to this situation. We won't be seeing each other in person for months now, on top of our wedding being postponed. I don't know what to do. I have no idea how I'm supposed to feel. Right now I'm just full of anger and guilt, and I don't know how to explain it to anyone else in my life. Wow, yeah, this is clearly a priorities thing, and I feel like this would cross the line with most people. It's one thing to be doing this 20 years into a marriage, like, okay, but he's about to marry this girl, and now he wants to spend months away and postpone the wedding? Yeah, not sure about this one, regardless of the circumstance. Let's see what the comments think. You have the right to resent Max. He picked his ex-wife over his fiancée. He may feel like he has a responsibility to her, but he has a responsibility to his future wife. He's asking you to put your life on hold for his ex-wife. You absolutely have the right to feel angry about this. Can you see yourself marrying him after this? Opie replies, Honestly, I don't know. Part of me feels like I should admire him. As in, oh, look at how selfless he's being for her. But the other part is thinking, but what about me? I want him to come home, but am I really going to demand that he leave his dying ex-wife alone? Before he left, he said, We've got our whole lives to spend together. She might only have a year. He's intending on living with his ex until February, and you are to do what? Just wait? No, your resentment and discomfort is not wrong. I feel intense sympathy for her, for your partner, absolutely. Death is a terrifying, cold thing, but he's supposed to be with you. It was not her right to ask him to be with her as a husband is through this horror. Did she ask you? My fear is, okay, so February comes, her chemo's done, now she's weak and miserable from chemo. Is he going to leave her then, feeling like that? He should not have asked you over Skype. He should have been there in person. When is the next time you're supposed to see him? She replies, we're not in a bad place financially, but we just couldn't afford a plane ticket every month. We've been trying to save up to buy a house after the wedding, not to mention the cost of the wedding itself. So to answer your question, end of January or early February. That's when I'll be seeing him in person, according to his plan. A commenter says, so, just before the wedding? He expects to spend all this time away from you and then just marry you without you getting any warming up time to get to remember what it's like to be close to him? Without him getting any cooling down time after having lived like a husband with this other woman for most of a year? That would be entirely unacceptable to me. OP, I can't figure out a way to phrase this delicately, so I hope that you'll forgive my bluntness. If this relationship ends, are you going to be financially okay? The emotional stuff is one thing. This has to be incredibly difficult, and I admire your composure. But just in terms of strictly physical, if he says, I'm old enough to love her the way I wanted to when we were younger, and give up on marrying you, are you going to be able to make it? I hope that you're saving something aside for yourself, something not in the joint account, if there is one. She replies, trust me, I'm feeling far from composed right now, but thank you. If we're looking at the absolute worst case scenario, the relationship ending, then the money that we've saved for the wedding and the house could be split between us. That's the only money we've got in the joint account right now. Otherwise, we keep individual accounts. So I should have enough to remain on my feet if I end up on my own. I really hope it doesn't come to that. I feel horribly crass saying this, but I can't imagine them living together as former lovers near the possible end of her life and them not sleeping together at some point. Admittedly, she'll be in awful physical state, but it's such an emotionally charged situation that it's highly likely. It might be a good idea to schedule a couple sessions with an experienced relationship and grief counsellor because it's an unusual problem, and if handled inappropriately, it could end your relationship. OP says, I'd be lying if I said I hadn't thought that, but I hated myself for even considering it. Max has never given me a reason to doubt him, and Caroline's intentions seemed innocent. But I have no idea what state she's in now. The only time I met her was back when she visited our apartment. I think all of you painting Caroline as if she did something wrong are stupid. Max deserves 100% of the blame. Caroline is allowed to ask whoever she wants, whatever she wants to ask them. Max is allowed to say, no, ex-wife, I won't leave my wife-to-be for you, not now, not ever, and not face any judgment, because what an absurd thing that is to do. OP, I don't know how you can possibly recover from this one. You are not selfish to leave this relationship. You are not selfish to tell him he comes home right now or it's over. You're not selfish to resent him or her for what they've put on you, but you should make sure you understand that he is 100% to blame for this. He, at every moment along this path, should have taken a look around and realised he was engaged to you, not her, and it's not his fault that she has no one closer than him. Also, he's literally living with his ex-wife. Can you imagine any circumstance where a guy leaves his fiancée to live with his ex-wife, and they aren't at the very least cuddling and extremely emotionally intimate? I'd be done with him if I was you. What an obscenely selfish man. And OP replies, wow, I needed to read that. You're right. Seeing so many people in agreement that Max and Caroline, though mostly Max, are being selfish, has decided me. I'll speak to him tonight or tomorrow and give an ultimatum. Either he comes home, or we need to rethink our relationship. Okay guys, an update the next day. First off, thank you all so much for your advice and words of support. I'm sorry that I couldn't reply to every comment, reply or PM that I got, but I woke up to a locked post and over 100 unread messages. I promise I did read through every one of them. Each perspective was incredibly helpful and made me look at the situation in a completely different way. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. I spoke to Max this morning. I told him that as terrible as I feel for Caroline, I don't want him living over there until February. I suggested that we brainstorm some sort of schedule that will allow him to continue visiting her, even postponing our honeymoon and using that money to fund his plane tickets. Several commenters brought up her moving over here for treatment, so I mentioned that as well, offering up our spare bedroom. I emphasised that I didn't fault him for wanting to help an old loved one in what could be her final days, but that I couldn't help but feel marginalised, especially so close to our wedding. Max didn't speak very much, just listened while I rambled on. When I couldn't think of anything else to add, I asked him to please say something. So he told me the truth. Carolyn was never stage 4. She was stage 2. He assured me that the rest of his story is true. Carolyn asking him to be with her, the initial surgery being unsuccessful, her chemo treatment plan, etc. But apparently her chances of survival are far greater than he led me to believe. Max said he lied because he felt it was the only way I could understand his need to be with her. He thought that if her situation seemed less dire than literal life or death, I wouldn't agree to him essentially moving across the country for her. He admitted to telling her that our wedding had been postponed to next August, giving her the impression that him being away until February would be no problem. He has also been the one insisting on remaining by her side. After her surgery, she had given him permission to return home, saying that it wouldn't be fair to pressure him into living with her throughout her entire chemo treatment, as much as she would have liked him there. He refused to leave. He told her that I supported this decision fully. Max swears that he's not in love with her still, but I just can't believe that. He lied to my face. Before she visited our apartment back in May, he warned me not to mention her being stage 4, as she was still, quote, extremely sensitive about it, and I completely bought into that lie. I trusted him. He put his past with her over his future with me. I'll be spending the next few months apartment hunting and cancelling wedding plans. Thank you all for your kind words. Wow, this guy wins Idiot of the Day, that's for sure. Someone's clearly not over his ex. Let's go to the final comments. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. What a turd. You, on the other hand, handled this beautifully. Please lean on the people close to you in this time, or lean on us. I know you don't think it right now, but you're going to be okay. Many internet hugs being sent your way. Opie says, thank you. I just feel like such an idiot. All this time and I never once questioned his story. I never even saw Carolyn. He told me that she was too embarrassed by her appearance to join in on our Skype calls. I just took him at his word. How did Max take the breakup? He kept apologising to me, not very sincerely. He just sounded tired, and when I said that I'd be moving out as soon as possible, he replied, "That's probably for the best." The one thing he asked for was my ring, which I agreed to mail to Carolyn's address. I'm realising that he checked out of this relationship a while ago. What about the ring? Is it an heirloom? Does Opie need to return that? No, it's not an heirloom. We picked it out together. I couldn't sell it. Anything I bought with that money I'd never be able to look at without thinking of him. I'm more than happy to return the ring to him because it's a no-strings-attached way of getting it out of my life. Hopefully it can be a nice reminder to him of me and why our relationship ended. Opie can leave the ring on that counter and let Max deal with it. I might send it addressed to Carolyn and include a note explaining to her why things ended between me and Max. Many people here are saying that she deserves to know the truth, since his lies were crafted around her illness. This is a very good idea, but I'd be concerned about Max intercepting it and making sure she never sees it. Good point. I could always ask a friend of mine to send it on my behalf, so that it won't be our apartment on the return address. But this is probably wishful thinking. I should just leave it on the counter and move on. What are Opie's plans now that she has to end her engagement? I intend to go no contact with him, but I might send Carolyn some sort of note. She's been completely innocent throughout all of this, and she deserves to know the truth, which I doubt he's told her. What a complete and utter scumbag. Pretty clear he never got over his ex and jumped ship at the first opportunity to get back with her. I just don't understand why he couldn't just be a man and break up with OP, instead of leading her on for months with webs of lies about his alleged dying ex-wife. If you want to be with your ex, by all means go be with her, but don't lead someone else on for months while cheating behind her back, pretending to be a good, selfless, caring person. I think he just liked getting the attention of both women, and I sincerely hope that, in the end, he winds up with neither of them. Yeah, using someone else's cancer diagnosis to get your way. There's got to be a special place in hell for people like that. Anyway, guys, as usual, let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and leaving that story there, and moving on to the next. Okay, we're over on relationship advice. This one was also written by a throwaway account, and it's titled, My Boyfriend Won't Try On His Christmas Present. Not gonna lie, I'm pretty freaking angry, and I'm basically only here for a whinge and a moan. If a mellowed out soul wants to give me some advice, that might be helpful though, because I currently want nothing more than to punt the idiot off a cliff. I'm 27 and he's 33, together 4 years. We have artsy hobbies and we usually like to make each other a handmade gift for Christmas. We usually enjoy it, but honestly this last year he is constantly at my house leaving his ball hair under my toilet seat, whinging about Boris Johnson and doing my Swede in. I saw an advert for Dogs Trust about how Milo the Doberman is going to spend Christmas alone this year, and I'm jealous of the fricker. Anyway, I sew as a hobby. For Christmas I thought it would be nice to make my boyfriend a blazer. He asked for one on his birthday, but I couldn't get fabric for his birthday this year. I've made blazers before, but the materials I bought this time were not cheap, so to make sure I knew what I was doing, I got some of the leftover fabric from my last project and made a mock-up and prototyped to make sure it was right. For the last 3 days, I've been sewing about 80 different little tiny invisible pockets and invisible seams and buttonholes, but now I've got a pretty decent mock-up of what I want the real blazer to look like. I just wanted to check it fits him properly, so I asked him to take 10 minutes to try it on so I could make sure. I don't know what his problem is, but he decided that instead of trying it on so I can check if it fits like I asked, he would start a row with me. A row because the fabric I made the Trailblazer out of has flowers on it and was at some point in the week pinned to my mannequin who is a woman. He won't put it on. He's telling me that he won't put it on, even though he knows I'm the only one who's going to see it. I wish I was joking. Actually, no I don't, because the girls and I are all having a right giggle about it. I don't know what he wants, but if he thinks that after I spent £200 on materials to make this frickin' blazer, I'm going to trot my ass down to the craft shop to spend another tenner on a roll of plain fabric because he wants a mock-up that doesn't have flowers on it, he can get on his bike and ride it to Timbuktu. I mean it. He's been playing up like a frickin' imbecile for weeks now. I'm sick of his bullcrap. I'm not going to coddle him and pretend that what he's asking for is reasonable. I've talked to my therapist about this, and he talked about reasonable ways to resolve this conflict. Currently, I've come up with 1. Shag his dad and then go on the Jeremy Kyle show to tell him. 2. Make him sleep in the car and then have the car towed off the pier. And 3. Give him a card and a Snickers bar for Christmas, wait for him to complain, then chuck his clothes out the upstairs window while the neighbours watch. I'm open to more suggestions if you can think of anything better. I'd say all suggestions are pretty sound. Let's go to the comments. I am laughing my ass off at your possible solutions. They all sound reasonable to me. All I can think of is to shelve the whole thing for now and ask him calmly, possibly after preemptive self-medication to enable calm, if he wants a blazer or not. If he does, he tries this one on. If not, he owes you an apology for wasting your time. What does he think will happen if he tries on a flowered mock-up? His dick will fall off? You can fix that. Opie says, appreciated. The therapist didn't agree. Though I can fix that, I think no penis suits him better. You should finish up the flowered blazer without a fitting and give it to him for Christmas too. Maybe add some lace and bows. She says, I do like that idea. Tell him I knew it was inappropriate to ask him to wear something like that without a matching clutch bag. Don't do this. Don't lean into the toxic masculinity. It's not girly to like flowers, and he doesn't have a vagina just because he's being an a-hole. OP says, absence of a penis does not a vagina make, my friend. However, you are right. Just because he's being a dildo, I shouldn't play up to it. But I'm mad, so I'm going to shred his masculinity in the anonymous comments. His masculinity certainly sounds fragile. Knitters have this boyfriend sweater curse. Apart from the fact that your boyfriend exhibits some ridiculously fragile masculinity here, that curse says after you knit an especially nice and work-intensive sweater for your, in this scenario, boyfriend, the relationship falls apart. I saw a TikTok, yes, about it that made a good point. It's not the sweater, it's investing so much love and time and labour, and then feeling the resentment when you see it on a person that doesn't value any from you, and would never invest that much for you, and you know it. In a good relationship, you just made your spouse a sweater. In a bad relationship, it brings out what is wrong. For example, investment disbalances or a fragile ego or whatever. Maybe you found the sewing equivalent, the blazer curse, and the sewing magic is trying to tell you something. Opie says, "This makes so much sense." Damn, that masculinity sure is fragile. He makes me get the spiders too. Somehow I knew that based on your description. This is insane. I'd understand if he didn't want to wear something floral out, but it's a mock-up of a real one. He's crazy. My suggestion is to donate the blazer to someone who needs it and would appreciate it and get your boyfriend nothing for Christmas. She replies, "The ironic thing is he's the biggest softie I know." It sounds like you want to break up with him. Why don't you? Honestly, I'm going to. Today really set me off, but it's not the first time he's behaved in a way that's completely infantile for no reason. I can't be with someone like that. What language is this? Seems like English, but has expressions like doing my Swede in. What did I just read? This is real Manchester English, my guy. And now for an update in the comments the same day. She says, "His stuff is packed and by the door. It's up to him when to come and get it. He knew I was a cold bee when he got with me. I didn't know he was a man-child until I had to lock myself in a house with him. I think I deserve some slack." Another comment says, "Even though Opie was showing it through typical English banter/humour, the resentment was clear as day from the get-go. Glad she broke up with him." Yeah, my thoughts exactly. What are your thoughts, guys? Let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, that's it for that story, and that's it from me today. Hope you enjoyed those ones. Thanks for making it to the end, and I'll see you all in the next video. Have a good day. Cheers.